What's up and good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for tuning in to Do More Life on this Sunday morning. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, Ross and Prep Ford. Are you experienced, Robert? Asia Unscripted, One Hungry Traveler. And I know there's a few more up at the top that I said hello to earlier. Hey, Jose. Over turn the lights. This is it. We will hit the heights. On with the show it is. I like okay. Hi Griffin, good to see you this morning. Today we're going to talk about countries with no mandatory Q requirements that are open for travel and tourism right now. So countries that are open for travel and tourism around the world right now. I thought this would be very interesting for you guys. Gotta love Thailand. What's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you all for stopping by. I'm sure there'll be some questions in here. Bugs Bunny theme song. If there are any contributions to the channel, would you go to them with no restrictions? Yeah, I would, Ross, to be honest with you. Jess, greetings from LA. Hello, Jess. Bangkok Diaries. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining the stream this morning. So, not every single country I'm going to talk about because, like, I just don't know how many people want to go to Afghanistan right now. But if you want me to cover every country, we will for sure. Hello, Joe. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it very much. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys, and you should be able to see the likes. If you can't, something's wrong. With that being said, let's get started. Afghanistan. It says entry is allowed to travelers with a valid visa. And I can't really PC so many words like I normally do, so we're just gonna have to take a chance here and see what YouTube does. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, would you like my Cubano? Okay, Roger. See you, man. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it very much. Ross says, guess it comes down to the percentage of it in the community. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, Afghanistan, just you have to have a visa, and self-isolation at home is advised for 2 weeks if you have a fever. Otherwise, there are no restrictions on. Doorman, what's up? Yes, Big 12 football is good, and I miss it very, very much. Another country that is open, by the way, I'm getting all this off the WeGo website. It's actually a blog.wego.com, and they have an app. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but that's where this information is coming from. All right, Spanish says, let's take a vote in chat. Would you go to Thailand with current restrictions and cost and weight? No, it's too expensive right now if you're outside of Bangkok. Unless you just got the money to throw away, it's too expensive. We did the figures yesterday, and about the cheapest you could come out is about $2,000. That's everything included. So, just can't do it, man. But Todd did. He's got a good point. He did. He did it. I think he did it a little bit different way, but doesn't matter. I'm glad to see him in the chat. Certainly appreciate message I got from him. Let's talk about Albania. What about Albania? It says international commercial flights resumed on June 15th. There is a health screening at the airport. If you're found to have anything, anything that would go with it, then you follow the advice of the health officials there. And masks are mandatory indoor and outdoor for anybody above 11 years old. Aruba. How about Aruba? Aruba has opened its borders to all countries other than the Dominican Republic, Haiti, all Central American countries, and all South American countries except for Venezuela, which are slated to be welcomed from December 1. So that would already be in effect. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, man. Yes, that does include. Yeah, that includes flight or experience. That's pretty much all in. Um, this is Aruba. Entry is allowed following the online ED program, where you will be issued an ED card. You can look up. It just stands for embarkation and disembarkation program. So you would look up what would need to be done there. Yes, Aruba is super expensive, but it is what it is. And we're not talking about the expensiveness of the country. We're talking about countries that are open for tourism in Thailand. I'm sorry. We're talking about countries that are open for tourism and travel. No queue mandatory, but instead you'll need a negative test taken no longer than 72 hours before arrival. Alternatively, you may also get yourself tested on arrival, but you'll need to queue until your results arrive. Aruba, like Thailand, has visitors insurance, and it is mandatory for all. Mandatory for all. Adam, good morning. Chad, good morning. I know what I know what he must be talking about. Nice to meet everyone. Nice to meet you too. You must be held up in Thailand. Bahamas. This is something I found very interesting. Was the Bahamas? The Bahamas reportedly opened, or excuse me, the Bahamas reopened for tourism on July 1st, but all require travelers to complete a 14-day queue period in any accommodation, hotel, boat, private property of their choice. This vacation in place policy has now been eradicated from November 1st with no mandatory queue for any traveler. So what's mandatory now is that all tourists who apply for travel health visa on the official website have a negative test. Your results shouldn't be older than 5 days, so that's not 72 hours, right? 5 days. And let's see. All those who are staying in the Bahamas for more than 4 nights, 5 days, must take the rapid test. I guess again after your 4 days are up or whatever. Yes, Ted. Definitely. Good luck on your hold up. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I don't know who would want to go there, but open on June 1. 48-hour test is only obligation. You can check more entry there is with the BIH Border Police. Brazil. How about Brazil? That's a country that most people might travel to. Adam says, here's an idea. Just make me wear a spacesuit for 14 days so I can roam freely. that's not too bad. Get somewhere. Thanks for the info. Hoping to get to Thailand in 2021. I read your comment this morning. Thank you for dropping by the live stream. Appreciate it. Bosnia is nice but quiet. I bet it is. Brazil lifted its travel restrictions for air travelers on July 29th to relieve the dwindling economy over there, according to WeGo. Although the percentage, although the load is high in Brazil, there aren't any restrictions for travelers. Only if you are experiencing, something going on, then would you have to do a isolation 15 days. Thank you for putting up the PayPal link, Robert. We made a little bit of progress on that yesterday, trying to make a little bit more because I got a 4-day weekend coming up and I want to travel some more for you guys. Edited the video yesterday, so I got two to edit today, and I believe you guys will like them very, very, very much, and want to be able to get out for a couple days and go see if I can record some more content. So if you're interested in contributing to the channel fund, which covers travel and it also covers equipment expenses, you can do that via the PayPal link. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Roger. Joe P says, sorry, I need to go to the gym. It's calling to work out. Okay, Joe, thank you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the super chat. Okay, I was just making sure I was caught up on all the comments. How about Colombia? Colombia is we'll come back to Colombia in a second. Our experience says so for 2K for the first 2 weeks, then all you need is 2 more weeks hotels if you stay 4 weeks. I normally pay about $1,000, like both of the hotels. So yeah, you're gonna need more money, and that's just the estimated cost that we put together. It's going to cost about 2K. You would need to talk to somebody who is official, like has an official knowledge of the ASQ process, and determine which kind of visa you would be on, etc., to get it going. MedTech, good to see you, man. It says often the music is loud at the gym and it is difficult to hear YouTube. I try my best to hear the conversations. Thank you. Ross says, Chad, you will enjoy living here. I recommend learning to speak and read Thai or get someone to translate for you. Definitely. Doorman, are you trying? I'm not sure what that comment means, man. Joe P says, be good and be safe. I agree, everybody. Okay, you guys got your own conversation going over there. I'm going to keep going with the information. So Colombia resumed its international tourism sector on September 19th. You no longer need a negative test for international arrivals. That started November 4th. If you do have issues, you will be denied boarding. For a smooth immigration process, fill out the online form, check MIG, all one word, check, and then a capital MIG, around 24 hours before your journey. So, there you go. Yeah, and that sounds about right, Chad. $1,500. Costa Rica. Who wants to go to Costa Rica? I want to go. I would love to go to Costa Rica, to be honest with you. Is it just my glasses or is my camera really bad? No, it's not. Okay. Guys and moderators, just keep an eye on what you say over there in the chat because I can't read every comment today like normally. MedTech says girlfriend is tied. No point to spend money upon alternative travel arrangements. Good point. Headed to Phuket, says Doorman. I don't blame you. I'd go too. Costa Rica. Costa Rica says from November 1st, tourists from all countries are allowed to enter Costa Rica. While the 2-week queue is not mandatory, travelers have to fill out an online form called Pase. Excuse me, my Spanish is bad. Pase de Salud, which is basically health pass. The test is no longer required for entry. That was done October 26th. Travelers medical insurance, international or purchased in Costa Rica through the National Insurance Institute, is mandatory. So as you can see, most of these countries are they've gone away with the Q, but they still want you to make sure you have health insurance and insurance to cover anything that might arise. Let's just say, hang on, guys, pick them up. Wipe that off and see if it's better. Yeah, I like that. Okay. For dental, that's a good place to go for dental. Cuba. Not sure who wants to go to Cuba, but Cuba's on the list. Cuba announced the reopening of international tourism back on July 1, but it wasn't until early September before commercial flights started opening or operating to the island for tourists. Testing is mandatory and free for all arrivals. Travel for international visitors is mostly restricted to the Cuban Keys, including Cayo Largo, Cayo Coco, Cayo Guillermo, not Guillermo, maybe Guillermo, I'm not sure. Cayo Cruz and Cayo Santa Maria, with the latest addition being Varadero. Excuse me. Been a long time since I had Spanish class. Hey, Robert Mack. From November 15th, the Havana area and airport are also open for tourism as well. Pretty cool. The Dominican Republic. This is becoming another hot spot that people are talking about. And the Dominican Republic says the country reopened for international travelers from July 1. No restrictions or certificates. No queue. It says on arrival, randomly chosen passengers from the pool will be subjected to a test, and if found positive, a queue will follow. That's a good idea, doorman, by the way. Eventually build a house up there. That'd be awesome. Probably be pretty cheap too. It says curfew. Here's the catch on the DR. Curfew on weekdays from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And on Saturdays and Sundays from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Masks are mandatory, and if seen without one in public, you may be penalized. So if you want to go to the Dominican Republic, just keep that in mind. McTech says, does U.S. immigration still have issue with passports that contain a Cuban stamp? I've always been afraid to visit Cuba in case I was subsequently refused entry to the USA. Oh, that's right. You're not American MedTech. I forgot. I was about to say they can't refuse you entry. That's a good question that I have to look into. I wasn't aware of that stigma, but I'm sure we can look into that. No question. Nice house for around 400,000 baht. Oh yeah, definitely. I agree, doorman, 100%. I agree. Okay, what about Ecuador? Now, Ecuador, for those of you that don't know, Ecuador it has become. I read this when I was thinking about coming to Thailand. Ecuador is a very good spot for expats. It's good. It's a good. They have a good system set up there for expats and retirees. So let's see what their program is. Commercial flight operations resumed in Ecuador on June 1st. You may either carry a test report taken in the past 10 days or opt for a test on arrival. Charges payable by you. No mandatory queue unless you've got things going on. Entry into Galapagos Islands requires a separate negative test. Shouldn't be older than 96 hours at the time of entry. Transit control card or TCT obtained from the Immigration Office of Galapagos or Quito and Guayaquil airports, and travel insurance for the islands. There may be some local curfews and restrictions in certain places. Lost LeBlot. You have a North Korean stamping your horse door, man. That's funny. How about Egypt? Egypt says Egypt reopened borders for international tourists from July 1st. Valid paper copy of negative test certificate is mandatory for all passengers above 6 years old, no older than 72 hours. Extendable up to 96 hours for those arriving from the USA, Canada, etc., with a long transit interval. If you fail to bring a valid negative certificate, you'll be subjected to a test on arrival, and until the results arrive, isolation in a hotel is required. Incoming tourists must show proof of health insurance upon arrival. So there are a few more restrictions to Egypt, but you will have to go to WeGo and click their website for more information on that. I would go to Egypt too. I would love to go to Egypt. I think it's a fascinating country. French Polynesia. And I'm quoting most of this directly from WeGo, by the way, just so everybody knows. French Polynesia reopened on July 15th and now doesn't require any of the travelers to undergo any kind of mandatory queue. You needed 3-day negative tests before departure. That's mandatory. Complete the online health registration within 3 days of your flight. While filling out the application, you will be prompted for travel insurance in case yours doesn't cover it and its related cost. You must agree on bearing all the health costs incurred in French Polynesia in the event that you come down with it. Ghana reopened on September 1st and does not require travelers to queue. You have to carry a negative report, not older than 3 days, as well as undergo a test on arrival at your own cost. If your travel duration is less than 7 days, you may skip the pre-test documents part. Guatemala. International commercial flights reopened on September 18th. A negative test certificate conducted 72 hours before arrival at max is required for entry. Fill out the health pass in advance. All tourist places are now open, but masks are mandatory in public spaces. Makes sense. Ghana would be interesting. It's one of those that I don't know a lot about that I would like to. Honduras. Honduras restarted international flights from August 17th. All passengers must carry a negative test, a certificate conducted less than 72 hours before entry. Queue is not obligatory unless you exhibit issues upon arrival. You must also complete the immigration pre-check form within a 48 hour of your journey start. Okay. Kenya. Who wants to go to Kenya? Jamaica's not on this list, I don't think. Are you experienced? We'll see. We're getting there. Kenya restarted operating international commercial flights from August 1 with no mandatory quarantine in place. Within 96 hours of your... I just said the whole word. Fuck. That's what I get for thinking and talking at the same time. Within 96 hours of your travel, you must have conducted the test. If entering from the port, fill out the port health form available. They have some kind of app for that. Travelers are advised to venture out during the night curfew which is in effect from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Travelers are advised, it says, to venture out during the night. I think they meant not to venture out. Kosovo. Well, weren't we talking about going to over that way sometime? Kosovo reopened its international borders on June 28th. It-related entry restrictions such as queue and testing are not required for entering Kosovo. So basically, you got nothing there. Adam says getting late in the UK, heading off to Dreamland. At least that's free. That's true, man. Later, gentlemen. Okay, Adam, thank you for stopping by. Very much appreciate it. Still waiting on the Ukraine group trip. Eric, I hear you, bud. I hear you. The Maldives. The Maldives. This is a very popular vacation spot. Do I think Thailand? I don't know what that means. Right now, as it stands, the latest news we have for Thailand is it won't be open for general tourism until Q2 of 2021. Kenya is nice for safari. That's true, Griffin. That is true. Prep for it says, I guess in a few months we will have to show proof we received the ew. Let's just say B on that one. Let's remove that one and say B. Prep for it. But yeah, you most likely will. Thank you, sir. I would say definitely that's going to be when that's available. Probably that's my thought anyway. The Maldives. The Maldives has been open for tourism since July 15th with no mandatory queue. All passengers must fill out the Traveler Health Declaration, or THD, a day before you arrive, in addition to carrying a negative certificate. Random testing will also be conducted on incoming passengers at the airport. And if you are positive, you only have to queue at that time. Malay City, Hulhulmel, Villimel, Fushi, and something that starts with a G have curfew restrictions that keep changing from time to time. We know about changing from time to time. Let's go up here. Hey, Stuck! Thanks for joining us. Anybody's for first-time travelers to Asia? Yes, I have a whole channel about first-time travelers to Asia. Lee, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm just saying, please, by all means, check out any of the videos that you want to. Let's see. Good morning, Stuck. Good morning, Lyle. You've been in here for a minute, I think. You're welcome, Lee. Hey, Jose says Lee Robinson. Oh, yeah, def make sure to budget. It's easy to go, and yeah, it definitely is. Roger, I thought you were watching football. Okay, so that's the Maldives. How about Malta? Stuck is never cyber stuck. That's true. I'm new to your page. Thank you. Yes, Lee, no problem, man. No problem at all. No issues. I just don't have. I have playlists on how to come to Thailand. I have a ton of videos on what you need to do in order to get here. Right now, really, is not the time to come. In my opinion, I mean, if you got the money, sure, come on. But when you get here, you're going to have to do a 14-day queue. And you have to pay for that 14-day queue, your hotels, but that includes food. Yeah, definitely good to have him in the chat. I appreciate new guys coming in the chat all the time. It's a lot of money. again, in my opinion, I don't know what a lot of money is to you, but it costs around $2,000 just for your first, or for the package for the visa. If you get a 60-day tourist visa, you still have to go through the 14-day. It's actually 15 days queue, and you're going to be in the same spot for 15 days. So we're hoping that some of the restrictions of Thailand are set free before Q2 of 2021, because that's what they're looking at now. So it's up to you, buddy. Malta reopened for tourism from July 1 for a safe list of countries, as mentioned on Malta International Airport's website. Anyone, even non-nationals and non-EU visitors who have stayed in these countries for the past 14 days can enter Malta without mandatory queue requirements. You have to fill out the public health travel declaration form and the passenger locator form. No test reports required. Mexico. This is a very popular one, and this is one I would like to go to myself. It says travel buffs around the world can travel to Mexico, which opened its borders on June 8th. None of the travelers need a certificate for entry, nor do they have to stay in queue. Health screening is in place, and if you do not abide by the regulations, you may end up getting fined, jailed, or deported. And then it says more on Mexico travel restrictions here, so you can click that, and that's probably about the health screening stuff. Morocco. How about Morocco? Morocco is allowing international visitors from visa-exempt countries since the first week of September. You need to have an invitation from a Moroccan company or a reserved booking to enter the country. A test report from the past 48 hours is mandatory for entry. While no queue period is in effect, health screening will take place at the airports. Panama. Anybody interested in Panama? See, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but why is Mexico so hyped these days? Well, there's a lot of beauty in Mexico. There's a lot of old culture and that kind of thing in Mexico. I mean, you have some really historic places in Mexico. You have some very interesting culture down there. I've never been, but I know people here not here, but in America that were of Mexican descent, and they've told me a lot of really interesting stories about it. Doorman, I have to check out your video later, bud. But I will. And it's cheap and it's easy for Americans stuck. He's been there, and I go by. I tend to lean on Stuck's advice. Yeah, no problem, hey Jose. All right, Panama. Reopening of international borders for tourism on October the 12th with Safe Travels badge from the World Travel and Tourism Council. Mandatory test for entry in Panama taken no earlier than 48 hours before arrival. If your test was conducted before that, you'll be tested again at the airport at your own expenses. Test costs about $30 US. No big deal. Completion of an electronic affidavit is also necessary. Masks are mandatory at airports and all public places. So if you want to go to Panama, there you go. Pakistan is welcoming visitors from all countries without any mandatory queues. The Civil Aviation Authority SOPs divide all countries into categories A and B, while travelers from category A may enter with no restrictions at all. Category B travelers must carry a test report taken no earlier than 96 hours before departure. Entry is allowed to those passengers who have downloaded the Fast Track app and entered their details on it. If you have issues on arrival, a mandatory test follows at a cost of around 6,000 to 9,000 PKR. That's their denomination, and I don't really know how to convert that properly. so I am not going to try. 1 second while I turn off that that one email there. Okay. Puerto Rico. Who would like to go to Puerto Rico? I'd like to go to Puerto Rico. I think Puerto Rico's would be a cool country. Stuck says, I've spent 10 birthdays in Mexico. It used to be my first stop out of the country. Wow. Any particular city, Stuck? I'm curious about that. Are you experienced? Says the main question is, are airlines flying to these places? Well, that's something you would have to look up on your airlines. I imagine if they're open for tourism, then you're going to be able to get a flight because the airlines are all dying for cash right now, and I just can't see them turning away flights to these places. Was it Mexico City? I don't know. I'll wait on Stuck to tell me. Puerto Rico reopened international borders on July 15th. No quarantine. Now, Q is needed if you carry a negative report 72 hours before. If you fail to carry one, you have to stay in queue for 14 days to test to get early release. Ross says, I have a good friend in Puerto Rico. He moved his family there after last hurricane. Taxes are very favorable to move businesses there. I've heard that. I've heard that about Puerto Rico. Very interesting idea. I've had some interesting ideas anyway. The curfew will remain in place till November 13th, which means it's gone. All travelers 18 years and older must fill out the online travel declaration form and upload your results online. Beaches, museums, and natural reserves are open, but attractions and tours remain closed. This article is a little bit old, so remember, it could have changed by now. You can find this at WeGo. Hey, Andy, good to see you, buddy. Stuck says Guadalajara was where I flew into my last 10 to 12 times, the 80s, early 90s, flying to Mexico City. I'm very interested in going to Guadalajara. Very interesting, very interested to do that. I have a friend from Guadalajara. I don't talk to them anymore because they're in America and they've had their own life, and we just hadn't connected in a long time. But I would really like to see that city. I know there was a guy in the chat that was talking about Guadalajara, Mexico, and how I should come down at some point in time and check it out. Guadalajara and whatever is my favorite non-coastal cities. Cool. Sounds good to me. St. Bart's. St. Bart's reopened on June 22nd for all international tourists with no mandatory queue. You need a negative test report 72 hours before, a sworn statement, are mandatory to fly to St. Bart's. For longer stays, you have to take another test on the 7th day and pay 135 euros for it. That's kind of expensive. Oaxaca. Gotcha. I really got to brush up on my Spanish, man. You would think that a guy that took 7 semesters of Spanish in college could at least remember something, but it's just tough. St. Martin has opted for a phased reopening for international tourists from July and is not accepting tourists from all Caribbean countries, USA, Canada, and all European countries. No queue is mandatory, but you must fill out the application form. You do need a negative certificate. It's mandatory 72 hours and must be uploaded online. Serbia, no queue, no tests. All travelers must take a self-assessment test, as this determines what protocols they need to follow once they reach Serbia. The self-assessment test must be taken again On the 10th day of the stay, only travelers arriving in Serbia after transiting via North Macedonia, Croatia, Bulgaria, or Romania should be carrying a negative report taken within 48 hours. Some of these countries I'm not going to go over. Let's see. Here's Turkey. No. Andy says, I did economics for 5 years at uni and can't remember much. Good, you make me feel better. Great. Let's see. Turkey. Turkey has been welcoming international tourists since June 12th, with numerous countries now having scheduled and non-scheduled flights to Turkey. Currently, no mandatory queue or tests are in place. Wearing masks is obligatory in all provinces, with some charging a fine as high as 900 lire or $122.50 USD approximately for not wearing one. So there you go. Turks and Caicos. Yeah, I would like to see that. Shrinkish, thank you very much, sir, for the super chat or super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Joe says, hi guys, I'm back. I'm just going to be listening. Okay, have a good show. We're trying, Joe. We are definitely trying. Turks and Caicos reopened for international tourists from July 22nd with uniform travel guidelines for all. All tourists must register on TCI Assured Travel Authorization Portal, as failing to do so will result in entry denial. The test taken no earlier than 5 days of departure is mandatory for travelers. You must also have any travel or health insurance that covers the cost of it, should you get it. All passengers are subject to health screening and questioning at the airport on arrival by the airport officials. So there you go. Tom Bernard says everyone is welcome to enter the UK 14Q, but nobody does it. Yeah, it's kind of the same way here, to a certain degree. Uganda, from October 1, Uganda has opened its borders for international tourists with no mandatory queue. The test is taken no earlier than 72 hours before you depart and must be produced upon arrival. Since health screenings are mandatory, if you exhibit issues, you will need to undergo a test and stay in isolation until the results arrive. Thank you for throwing up the PayPal link there. Are you experienced? Guys, if you really appreciate the information here and if you appreciate the videos on the channel, I would certainly appreciate any contributions you make to the channel fund, because that is really what keeps this channel going, really. We'll talk more about that later. Ukraine is accepting international tourists from September 28th. It classifies countries into red and green zones, depending on which travelers meet with testing and queue regulations. While no self-isolation is required for travelers from green zones, if you're traveling from a red zone, you can evade the mandatory 14-day queue by undertaking a test 48 hours of your due arrival. So, yes, thank you. Hit the like button. It's free. Yes, Shrikish, I have an Instagram account. It's in the description of this video below. Or you can just do Instagram /Jeremy.Clodfelter, and that's me. Roger says, I'll match $25. Get her done. Okay, so somebody wants to throw in 25. Roger says he'll match it. I appreciate that, Roger, very, very much. Thank you for throwing out a little challenge there. That'd be very nice to walk away with a little something today. Hopefully to help with the trip coming up, or with if we get enough in the channel fund to help with maybe going. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's 25 from PayPal. I kind of thought that was coming. I appreciate that very much, my good friend. And here is Sir Roger. You can match that, and we'll be halfway to our goal for the day. Let me make sure I got his name covered up there. $25 right there. Thank you very much, so, good sir. I know who you are. Let's see. Ukraine is accepting international tourists from September 28th. Oh, I did the red and green zones. How to avoid it. Valid health insurance from any Ukraine firm or a foreign company with a branch in Ukraine is available on the official website. Must be availed of before traveling. Carry your ID and mask when in Ukraine. Cool. How about Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe resumed international tourism on October 1 without mandatory queues. You must be carrying a negative test report no older than 48 hours. Only if you fail to bring a valid test, it will result in a queue requirement of 14 to 21 days. So you definitely want to make sure you have your test. Wearing masks in public is a legal obligation in Zimbabwe. And Roger has matched the, I'll wait for it to come through on email so I can hit it, but Roger has matched 25. So just like that, the channel is $50 richer, and that's good, because I don't know how many of you. I'm thinking about doing like a 2-night stay in some hotel here in Bangkok, located downtown, and then film everything around it. That's going to be a new series coming out, and I'm very excited to see if that works or not. It hasn't come through on email yet, but I will show it as soon as it does. I promise. Thank you guys, both of you guys. I really appreciate that very much, and thank you guys for the super chats and super stickers already. I appreciate that very, very much. Very, 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 very much. There are some countries with partial or selective queue requirements on arrival. And I'll only read a couple of those because they sound interesting. Or I'll just tell you what the countries are, and you can look them up. Nelson says El Salvador, negative test and mask. Cool. That's good. Barbados is one of the, it classifies whether you need the queue by high risk, medium risk, low risk, all that stuff, country you're coming from, but it has a lot of different stuff in there. Belize, I will say Belize because Belize is a country that I would like to visit myself, although it's very expensive. Belize reopened for international leisure travel from October 1. Download the Belize Health app and register it 72 hours before arrival in Belize. A test is recommended. If you aren't carrying one, you will be tested at the airport, and it costs $50 and asked to stay in a queue at your hotel until your results arrive. If you test positive, you will need to queue for 14 days. All tourists receive a safe corridor welcome to Belize wristband, with stay being permitted only at accommodations with gold standard certification. This means you may now only visit your hotel's beachfront and take private tours offered by your hotel with minimum interactions with the locals. Okay, all long stay non-nationals and those with business concerns, however, have to queue for at least 10 days. And I don't really see a lot of, here's Jamaica. Are you experienced with asking about Jamaica? Doorman says United Emirates not open. Not without queue, brother. They must have a queue, and that's why they weren't on the first part of the list. Let's see again about Costa Rica, if you don't mind. I missed it. Just says about Costa Rica. Costa Rica. Let me go back up to Costa Rica. Hang on one second. Costa Rica, Costa Rica, Costa Rica, Costa Rica. Where are you, Costa Rica? Costa Rica. From November 1, tourists from all around the countries are allowed to enter Costa Rica. The 2-week queue is not mandatory. Travelers have to fill out an online form called Pase de Salud, which is a health pass. Test is no longer required for entry into the country from October 26th. However, travelers' medical insurance international purchased in Costa Rica through the National Insurance Institute is mandatory. Sad Q says, "Come on, guys, send this guy some money." Yeah, hey, I'm with you, man. Let's see. Let's go back down to where we were. These are the ones that have partial, or that are not without some type of queue or some type of major restriction. And I was just getting to one. Let's see. Where was I going? Jamaica. This is for our experience. Jamaica reopened for tourism with the introduction of a program called Resilient Corridors. Areas in the country prep for avoiding it to ensure safe tourism. You must complete the travel authorization process before entering Jamaica with the latest travel guidelines for international tourists. So obviously those are changing. You can take a test and present it at the airport on arrival. No need of uploading it at the airport. Testing again at Jamaica Airport at the discretion of the officers, and must stay in queue in the hotel room while awaiting the results. If you decide to stay outside the safe corridor region, you must be in queue for 14 days. Let me see if I can find the UAE on here. Here it is. Who was asking about that? Doorman, here it is. It says UAE has started reopening for tourism one by one, with Dubai reopening as early as July 7th. Travel guidelines are varied across the Emirates. While Dubai requires no queue unless you are asked to get a test on arrival, depending on the country you are traveling from, Sharjah, I think is how you pronounce that, has mandatory testing on arrival, and unless the results are out, queue stay is required. Abu Dhabi, on the other hand, requires all passengers to stay in what they refer to as self-isolation. It says more on reopening here. So you can click that if you want to go to WeGo and check that out. Let's see. Stuck said a friend that just went to Jamaica said travel was restricted to certain areas, but no queue. That sounds about right. Joe P says 80 in Costa Rica, but rain all this week. Ross says Jamaica was fun when I was in hedonism and 22 years ago. I bet it was. So the U.S. Virgin Islands, I'll just touch on this one real quick. This is the island country reopened again in September after shutting down for a month on August 19th for international tourists ongoing due to the load that the country was carrying. All visitors age 5 and above must be carrying a negative report. There's a certain kind of test that you have to have there from the last 4 months are also acceptable as an alternative. In case you're not carrying any results, only then you will need to stay in queue for 14 days. Health screenings are done at the airport. So that's pretty much going to cover everything, because the first ones that I covered, and I covered a lot of them, are going to be the really the ones that, for whatever reason, don't have a mandatory queue, and that's what we were kind of looking for there. Roger, I don't know why your 25 didn't pop up on my email yet, but I assure you it came in on PayPal, because I can see it on PayPal. I just can't put it up to the screen and show it on PayPal because it has too much information on it. But thank you very much, all you guys that contributed monetarily. I really appreciate it. And I definitely want to take, I definitely want to do something with this weekend. I don't know what that something will be, or excuse me, with next weekend. And we'll see what we can get done on the channel then. Ross says, anything on Fiji or New Zealand? What's up, Jerry? Hey, Alan. Good to see you, man. You're going to make me go back, Ross, you little turd. And let me see if I can find the same website. I wonder if I can search Fiji. Can I search? Search.
India. India.
I'll have to go through the list, Ross, because it doesn't, the search function won't let me. It doesn't tell me. I'm sorry. Wait, hang on. Okay, so this article was actually updated. Everything that I read to you was updated December 1st, 2020. So about 5 days ago. That's pretty good. Let me just go through and see if I can find New Zealand and Fiji, because I didn't see them in any of the original ones with no queue. So let's see if we can find Fiji. And if not, we'll try to find New Zealand. Well, if it is, Ross, it's going to have queue requirements for sure. Let's see. They're not on there at all. They're not on the. They're not on this list at all. Either one of them. So they may be, as far as I know, they may be shut down. I don't know. I mean, that's just a guess. I have no idea, actually. But yeah, so that was a comprehensive list, guys, and I hope you really enjoyed that information. Thank you for putting up the PayPal link there, Robert. If you want more DoMoreLife, that's the best way to contribute to the channel, and I appreciate it. I also appreciate people that super chat and send super stickers. I really appreciate that too. But the PayPal takes a lot less percentage, and we get it a lot sooner, so we can apply it to the channel. Never been to Fiji, but it's on my bucket list. Mine too stuck. It's also on my bucket list. Lyle says, did your eyes just cross looking for Fiji? Little bit. Let's see. What do I have here? Entry to Fiji for U.S. citizens is currently very limited. All arriving air passengers are required to queue in Fiji government supervised facility. 14 days. Travelers must pay for everything. So it kind of sounds like Thailand. Thank you for the message there. I appreciate that. Good morning, Shriekish sends another super chat. Appreciate that. Alan says can't take it anymore. Headed to the Dominican Republic on Tuesday. We'll be back Saturday night. I don't blame you, buddy. I don't blame you at all. Roger says I went to Cozumel. Hey, there's one place. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Cozumel. Mexico. No, was it Cozumel or? Wait, is Cozumel the party town? Which one's the party town? Where did I go to? I've talked about this before when I went on cruises. I went to a part of Mexico. I can't remember if it was Cozumel or there was another place. Anyway, I've been to Mexico. I went to Cozumel in May. It was great to relax and forget about the daily grind during a peak. Yep, I understand that. But I have been to Mexico. No, Cancun is where all the party happens. Cozumel is where I went on the cruise, and that was a very very nice place. Very nice place. Roger. So yes, Cozumel. I have been to Mexico. I forgot about that. That was back in like 2000. Forgot. Thanks for bringing that up, Roger. I appreciate it, man. Stuck says, Alan, have you been to the DR? Do you like it? That's a good question. Mexico. I hear you, Asian Unscripted. Yeah, Cancun was the party town I was thinking about. What about Cambodia and Vietnam? They weren't on the list, so I'm not sure if they just didn't make the cut for the website or if it had something to do with something else. It's a great question. Our experience, I'm sure you could probably Google that and look it up. I think. I would say. What's up, Ed? Acapulco, Acapulco was a party town of choice for a while. That's true. I remember that. It's funny, many years ago, Acapulco used to be the place to go in the 80s, says Alan. I believe that, but I wasn't born until 1980. Playa del Carmen is a nice beach. Obviously. Playa del, let's see, right? Carmen. Playa del Carmen. Carmen. I don't know. My Spanish is bad, man. Anyway, playa means beach. Stuck says I quit going to Acapulco in the late 80s. Much better beach towns now. Cool. Tijuana. Ed says Tijuana is the day trip party town for day trippers from Orange County, California. I've heard that before. In fact, my good friend Steve Montelli's talked about that before on some of his blogs. Tad says, thanks for give hints from Yokohama. You are welcome, Tad. Thanks for being in the chat. I appreciate it very much. Alan says, I love the DR. I stay at a private resort when I go. That's good. That's real good because I just watched the video on the DR and they just said it was expensive. No, that was on Belize. I'm sorry. So maybe DR, I'll have to do that. Phnom Penh or Pattaya? I would say Pattaya because I know Pattaya very well. I've never been to Phnom Penh in Cambodia. I don't know Phnom Penh Shriekish, but somebody can tell you in this chat, I'm sure. So the beaches in Cancun. Got Yucatan. Stuck says Yucatan is nice in the winter. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha, buddy. Gotcha. Ed says I would like to go to the Dominican Republic. Me too. Asia says Cambodia and Vietnam are still closed to tourists. That's probably why they weren't on the list. Thank you, Asia Unscripted. I appreciate that. Stuck says Alan Harris. That's my problem with the DR. If you're not at a resort, it's really not a great place. Interesting. Alan says yes. It's last visit cost me almost $7,000. Wow. No beach in Phnom Penh. That's a good point, Ross. Very good point. And there is a beach in Pattaya, and near Pattaya, there's Jomtien. There's, or you can go north. There's a lot of beaches around there. Touchdown sooner, says Roger. I love the fact that you're watching the game and still paying attention to the live stream. I really appreciate that very much, man. I really hope that you guys got a lot of good information out of these live streams this weekend. Yesterday was full of information. Today was full of information. You know, I hope that, and since that I found out that was that list was upgraded or updated on December the 1st, 2020, then it's a real list with real requirements and real countries that are open for tourism and travel and what you need to do to get in there. So I think it's great. It says there's a bar in the Dominican Republic located in a cave that I've always wanted to check out. It's called the Cave. That would be interesting. Srikish says, why is Phuket so expensive, so much more expensive than Bangkok and Pattaya? I do not know, but that is a good question. Phuket and Kamala are, I think, the most expensive places to live in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've always heard since I've been in Thailand. Can't tell you why. Guys, if you enjoy this content, please hit the thumbs up button for me. We want the algorithm to push this video out. Also, this is a very, very shareable video. You guys I can tell you guys are sharing videos again because we're gaining subscribers again, and the view counts are coming up on the videos. So please continue to share any videos with anybody you think that the information may help. I believe there are a lot of people out there that want to do more life, need to do more life, and DoMoreLife provides the information for them to do just that. So, you know, I think it's I think we're doing a good job on the channel, and I think my moderators and the channel members, you know, I haven't done a lot for you lately. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I do have plans. Right now, the reason that there's not just that I haven't added any more members only videos is because I'm trying to get stuff out to the public and let the AdSense roll in on it. Trying to get the revenue back up, because though I got to travel in November, I didn't get to put out a lot of content, and November was a bad month. Robert says, help the channel travel fund if you can. Trip to make more content is coming up fast. Yes, it is. It'll be here on Thursday. There's the PayPal link should you wish to contribute. All of us, of course, are very grateful for that. Ross says that Shrikish rules of supply and demand, Phuket and Koh Samui are protected from government to control growth. Interesting. Shrikish says you should use YouTube ad with proper keywords to reach the correct audience who loves to travel and Thailand related stuff. You can grow your channel with an ad. I could put ads on other videos, but I don't make enough on AdSense to reinvest much of anything that would be an ad. And in terms of keyword research, I've pretty much got that down for some reason, maybe it's travel season, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, the channel has been through a little slump. We've been here before. We've came out of it before, and looks like we're headed back upslope again, and that makes me very, 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 very happy. So really, guys, unless you got anything else, that's all I have to talk about today. I don't want to drag on with an extraordinarily long live stream. Another thing I want you guys to be aware of is I've been putting less and less ads in the videos, so you can have a more pleasurable watching experience if you have to watch it on replay. And the hopes of doing that is the hopes of getting people to share the video more, and also for new people that watch the video, they don't get turned off by having so many ads. Stuck in Florida says, depends on the area of Kamala. I paid 9,000 baht a month for a one-bedroom villa in 2016, but I had to rent it for 3 months to get that price. Different if you want beachfront condo like any place. Wow, I pay 9,000 baht for a condo room. This little bitty tiny room I live in Bangkok. I mean, granted, it's a very, very nice place I live, but the room is very small. That's interesting stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Alan says there are parts of the DR that make Pattaya look like a day camp. I can believe that. I can believe that. I've been doing some research outside of Thailand, and we're going to see what happens, because you just never know. You just never know what might happen when you try to do more life. That's all I can say. Guys, thank you so much. On your way out, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you feel so inclined, you may use the PayPal link for a contribution to the channel fund, which goes only for travel and equipment for the channel. It doesn't pay my rent, doesn't buy my groceries or any of that stuff. I cover all that stuff myself. So travel and equipment, that's what we need to keep going. And I thank you guys tremendously for the super chat, super stickers, and PayPals today. I think between yesterday and today, we made right at about $100. So decent weekend. I'm pleased, and we'll see what $100 gets us. Stuck said, let's see, Alan. Oh, Stuck says Alan Harris. There are some fun places in the DR, no doubt. Got to be careful in those places, though. That's true. Robert Mack says goodbye, Jeremy and guests, and I will say goodbye to everyone. Thank you to my moderators. I really appreciate you guys that come in and do this stuff, and Roger and Robert. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but you guys are always here and really make sure the channel's taken care of, and I thank you for that very much. So Roger McGee stayed to the end of the chat, even though he's watching his Oklahoma football game. Consider becoming a channel member, if nothing else, because you will get a few little perks here and there, and there'll be more big perks on the way. It's only $3 a month. So you can do that by clicking the join button below this video. Why does it sound like an airplane is crashing outside my window? I don't know. All right, guys, everybody take care. And remember, whatever you do today, be sure to do more life. I'm super grateful for you. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.